hear people say to me all the time, well, I'm just gonna do my job. I'm just gonna keep my head down and do my job. I don't have to play any of those politics. I'm gonna let my work speak for me. Well, guess what? The work doesn't talk. It does not speak. You're the one who has to talk about the work. You're the one who has to talk about your contribution. If I had $1 every time I heard someone say, I'll let my work speak for me, I wouldn't be working anymore.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Black Excellence Daily. I'm your host, Sean Croxton. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've got Carla Harris back on the show today. Every once in a while, in my Instagram comments, I see, I don't do office politics. I don't go to work to build relationships. I let my work speak for itself. Today, Carla is going to tell you why letting your work speak for itself is not really how it works. And if you're expecting to get a promotion based solely on your work, you're probably not going to get a promotion. Carla Harris is coming up.
Now, I tell you, I hear people say to me all the time, well, I'm just going to do my job. I'm just going to keep my head down and do my job. I don't have to play any of those politics. I'm going to let my work speak for me. Well, guess what? The work doesn't talk. It does not speak. You're the one who has to talk about the work. You're the one who has to talk about your contribution. If I had $1 every time I heard someone say, I'll let my work speak for me, I wouldn't be working anymore. It does not work that way. You have to build the relationships. Now, I know some of us in the room have trust issues. Trust issues, right? But if you allow your trust issue because someone didn't treat you right way back when, or someone seems like they're not approachable, or every time you try to talk to somebody, they seem like they don't want to be bothered. If you let that bother you and you don't invest in those relationships, it will impede your ability to ascend with compensation and with platform, i.e. the next job. So you must invest. And don't be put off because somebody seems like they don't want to be bothered. Unless you are clairvoyant, you don't know what they're thinking. You should invest anyway. Spend your time trying to get to know them so they can feel comfortable backing you behind closed doors. And I mentioned the trust issue because I know I had it too. I did not want to engage. I wanted to come in and put my head down and do the work. And then I started to realize that I was getting further and further on the outside of the circle. I wasn't within the fabric. So when said managing director said, hey, you know, Carla, what do you think about me putting Carla on there? Then people would say, I don't know. That's not the answer he wants to get. The answer you want them to say, oh, yeah, she's great. Oh, yeah, I would do that all day long. Easy, quick. Didn't even take 10 seconds. But if they don't know you, no one's going to say that. So you must invest in your environment and build those relationships. And oh, by the way, it's not that difficult. Building relationships at work is no different than the way you build relationships in your personal life. So you think about the people who are close to you in your personal life. How did they get close? Frequency of touch. Just kept spending time with them. Think about the person that you're close to here at the College of New Rochelle. You guys stood in line, you registered together. And then you said, hey, you going to the game? Yeah, I'm going to the game. Well, let's walk over together. Hey, you taking that economics class? Okay, so hold me a seat. Or you going to so-and-so? Okay, keep me, right? And you kept spending more time with that person. And that's how it got to be someone that you had a relationship with. So finally, I want to say this to you about managing through change. Change is the one constant that you will have in your life. You will have personal and professional change. The easiest way to manage through change, as I like to say, is to keep flexible knees. You can't even begin to think about the opportunities that will come to you in the next 2 to 5 years. And for those of you who are millennials and extras in the room, you will have the great privilege of being able to have 5 to 6 different careers, not jobs, but careers in your professional journey. Just think about it. 10 years ago, no one could say, I wanted to be CEO of Facebook. It didn't exist. No one could say, I wanted to be Chief Human Productivity Officer, not Chief HR Officer, but Chief Keeper of the Culture Officer. There are all kinds of titles now that exist that did not exist 10 years ago. So you should always stay flexible and be willing to change. All of the companies that are competing today in every single industry are competing around innovation. And if you don't show up as somebody who is comfortable with change and someone who is thinking about new ideas, you will be uncompetitive in that environment. So you want to show that you are comfortable being an innovator. You want to show that you are comfortable with change. As President Huntington said, I talk about what it means to be a leader in Strategize to Win. And good leaders understand leverage. They understand that they won't always have the right idea, that somebody on their team might have a better idea, so they create an environment where people want to contribute. And when people are looking for your contribution, contribute. Don't sit in a team meeting and don't contribute. Why are you valuable? You didn't say anything. E stands for making sure that you have an efficient process. If somebody is working for you, you need to make sure you define what success looks like. Because if you can define what success looks like, you will maximize their productivity and they will want to contribute because they know what a good job looks like for you. A is all about authenticity. And you guys know how I feel about authenticity. Being your authentic self is your competitive advantage. Nobody can be you the way that you can be you. D is about being decisive and valuing diversity. Diversity is important because that's the only way you get to the right idea. If you don't have different ideas in the room, you can't get to that one idea that will allow you to obtain and retain a leadership position. E stands for being engaged. Everybody is motivated by something else. Some of us are motivated by money. Some of us are motivated by title. Some of us are motivated by the public atta girl. But if you're a good leader, you will understand what motivates your people, and you will know how to make sure that you get maximum contribution because of who they are as individuals. And the R stands for taking risk. You must be comfortable taking risk in this environment. And you guys have heard me talk about that before. If you're not comfortable taking risk, you will definitely not be on a leadership platform. And being uncomfortable taking risks means you're scared. Means you're scared. And remember what I said, fear has no place in your success equation. So as I close, I say this to you, that success does not just happen. You must be intentional. You must be intentional about your performance. You must be intentional about your communication. You don't ask, you don't get. And you must be intentional about your relationships. You must strategize if you want to win. I thank you, and the floor is yours.
That was Carla Harris. Her website is carlaspearls.com. You can watch today's talk on YouTube. It's called 2018 Catalyst Awards Conference, Carla Harris. Hey, a couple weeks ago, I asked you to write reviews and, give me 5-star ratings for the show, and many of you did. And I just wanted to say thank you very much for doing that. Every time that happens, it helps the show move forward and helps us move up the charts and more people can hear the show. So again, I really, really appreciate that. Also, join my book club. We are reading The Confident Mind by Dr. Nate Zinzer. The conversation starts a week from today on September 10th. Get signed up at scbookclub.com. You're going to love the book. You're going to love the community. You're going to love the support. You're just going to love being around people who think like you, who want what you want, and who are willing to help you get there. There are really cool things happening in the book club that would not have happened if they were not attending and weren't surrounded by these incredible people. And I'm there to help you. And so if you need any help from me, you can DM me, but you can also be in the book club and just talk to me one-on-one over Zoom. Our calls are on Wednesdays. We have 2 calls. You don't have to attend both calls. You have an option of which one to join. We have an East Coast friendly call and a West Coast friendly call. So you're not on the East Coast up until 10 p.m. You can do it earlier. And you're going to dig it. Again, get signed up at SC, that's my initials, bookclub.com. I'm out. Peace.